Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gordon Frayne, and today we're back with another weekly update for the entire Bitcoin and crypto market here on Saturday, July 6th, 2024. We are a day late this week due to extenuating circumstances. But as always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, and smash that bell notification icon if you want to get notified about new videos when they drop. We're dropping videos pretty much every single day on the channel, so you're going to want to get notified. And don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. Grab it while it's free. It is my gift to you, so let's get into it. It's been a very choppy week in the crypto markets. Bitcoin is down week over week. We had a bit of a bleed happening over the course of the past few days. We're currently sitting at a Bitcoin price just under 58,000. However, we did go down into the 54,000 area just a couple of days ago. The market has been choppy, and a big factor, or a couple of big factors in the mix here when it comes to contributing to that drop in Bitcoin price has been the fact that Mt. Gox have announced and actually moved a certain amount of Bitcoin that is due to be repaid to customers who are finally getting their funds back after the Mt. Gox hack almost a decade ago. So we can see here that some of the Bitcoin is due to be repaid beginning in July, and it's anticipated that a lot of those people might sell a portion of their Bitcoin. I don't think everyone is going to sell it. A lot of people who were involved in Mt. Gox and Bitcoin all those years ago are very early adopters. And yes, while they might hold a lot of Bitcoin once they get the money back, some of those early adopters are some of the people who are, the truest believers in Bitcoin and decentralized currency. So I don't think we're going to be seeing, 100% of that being sold off. But nonetheless, it did shake up the markets this week as we saw the news that Bitcoin was going to be getting distributed back to those customers throughout the course of July. And on top of that, we did also see the German government continuing to sell off some of the confiscated Bitcoin that they were holding in a number of wallets. I think they had 50,000 Bitcoin in total. I think they've sold about 10,000 Bitcoin over the course of the past week alone, which was, a high influx of capital or a high influx of Bitcoin being dumped onto the market, driving prices lower. So a combination of these two things has significantly contributed to the drop in price and the overall market sentiment over the course of the past week. We can see Bitcoin sitting just below 58,000 here. We can see Ethereum is currently back above the $3,000 mark. It did drop ever so slightly into the 2,900s. We have BNB at about 526. Solana making a nice bounce as well, back up to 143, up almost 6% on the day. So, everything bleeding out the past few days. A lot of the alts following Bitcoin after that dip down to the $54,000 mark. And we saw a lot of the altcoin market bleeding out as a result of that as well. If we jump over and look at the overall market cap, we can see that we are now currently sitting at a 2.14 trillion US dollar market cap for the entire crypto market. This time last week, we were at about 2.25 trillion. So yes, we are down ever so slightly on the week once again. However, you can see we did dip all the way to 1.96 trillion when Bitcoin was down at that 54K level. We have bounced from there, and we are scaling back up towards the $60,000 mark today. Jumping over to the top gainers and losers of the past week. Yes, it is a more bloodshed week on our hands. We've got a lot of the altcoins that have bled out over the course of the past week. So there's a small handful of tokens that are actually in the green for the past 7 days. Mantra Network is up 22%, Multiverse X up 22%, then Bonk is up about 3%, Polkadot bouncing back up about 2%, Solana up almost 2% on the week as well, and Shiba Inu just up under 1%, with Toncoin just above break even. The rest of the top 100 cryptos are in the red, so lots of red on the market here. Ordi down 22%, Pendle down about 20%, Brett down about 15%. We've got Pepe down about 14-15%, Aave down about 14%, Sui down about 13%, Injective down just under 12%. So the amount of red in the market definitely outweighs the green over the past week or so. We know that when Bitcoin drops and we see a significant drop from the 60K level where we were last week down to 54K, most of the alts follow suit, and most of the alts will bleed out even more than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin has a 7 to 10% drop in price, most of the alts will go at least 15 to 25 or 30% in terms of a drop in the same period of time. So again, much more red in the market than green, but we have seen Bitcoin bounce in the past 24 hours back up towards that $58,000 mark. If we jump into the Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see that we're currently sitting at a Bitcoin dominance of about 54.75%, roughly similar to where we were last week, maybe slightly down on the week. We were sitting here with this candle right here around the 54.7 mark as well. So, roughly the same, not too much of a divergence in terms of overall Bitcoin dominance. Again, we've been on a very healthy and strong uptrend, as you can see, for the course of the past number of months. If we zoom out to the weekly chart, again, we can see that Bitcoin uptrend for Bitcoin dominance has been very much intact since the beginning of 2023, all the way through here to July 2024 in a very strong and healthy uptrend. It looks like we're, maybe getting to a point where we're kind of accumulating here in a range rather than continuing to increase to the upside. And, the next couple of weekly candles will be very interesting to see, if Bitcoin dominance can continue to hold the trend. So again, we'll keep an eye on that as the coming weeks evolve. We're not quite into an alt season just yet. Will we be getting alt season at all in this bull cycle? I think we will, but we might have to have a little bit more patience. And if we look at the crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10 cryptos, we can see that dominance of the entire crypto market cap outside of the top 10 is, it has been on a continuous downtrend, which is, in line with why Bitcoin is having such a strong uptrend in recent months as well in terms of Bitcoin dominance. But you can see that we might have put in this bottom here around the 9.68% level. We've seen a strong bounce there back to the upside. And again, another good week or daily candle here today into the green. So, we might have seen that bottoming out of pretty much the altcoin market in terms of the overall dominance outside of the top 10 cryptos. Again, we'll keep an eye on this over the course of the next few weeks, but this could be a signal that we are going to see at least maybe some accumulation here in this range, if not potentially a breakout to the upside, maybe after a few more weeks. Let's keep an eye on it and see what happens. As we jump over to the narratives index, again, what we're looking at here are the various cryptocurrency narratives. We can see NFTs has actually been the best performing narrative of the past week or so. We have GambleFi, options, centralized exchanges, memes, account abstractions, friend tech, and wallets all seemingly performing better over the past week. Again, when pretty much all tokens are in the red, it's very difficult to say which narratives are performing better than others. But again, if we go down here to year-to-date narrative performance, again, we can see that memes have continued to be the strongest narratives year-to-date. We have real-world assets, liquid staking derivatives, identity, artificial intelligence, and the Bitcoin narrative itself as the top performing narratives of the year. Always worth keeping an eye on the narrative to make sure that you understand which narratives the assets that you're holding in your portfolio are a part of, where they are going, how they are performing, and when to get in and out of those positions. Jumping over to the Bitcoin spot ETFs for the USA, we can see that we had a stronger week this week maybe overall in terms of the net inflows. We can see that last week we saw more accumulation happening, even though it was very small amounts of accumulation. This week we do have net positive inflows overall. We did have one less trading day thanks to the 4th of July being a holiday, but we did see total net inflows of over 2,000 Bitcoin on Monday, followed by very small outflows of 200 and 300 Bitcoin respectively on July 2nd and 3rd, before we saw those institutions come in and buy the dip yesterday, purchasing a net amount of about 2,600 Bitcoin when prices were down around that $55,000 level. So again, the institutions playing the market here and understanding that at a $55,000 price level, Bitcoin is a very good buying opportunity with the recent dip. So again, net positive inflows overall this week. We're seeing the trend line start to tick upwards again. Depending on how much of a bounce we get over the course of the weekend, we will see hopefully net inflows again come Monday morning on trading day. Once again, looking at the cycle low multiple, we can see here the price action of Bitcoin in the lead up to and aftermath of the Bitcoin halving over the course of the past 3 to 4 cycles, or eras as they are labeled on this chart. The price action in the lead up to day zero here, day zero is marking the Bitcoin halving date on the chart here. And again, the general trend that we've seen over the course of the past 3 eras is, this upwards parabolic price movement in the 12 to 18 months after the halving event. Obviously, we just came through the most recent Bitcoin halving in April 2024, the red trend line in this graph representing the current cycle or the current era that we're moving through. So again, we can see that we are in the aftermath of era 4 with prices breaking down up around this level here with the red line. However, we did put in a price of a new all-time high for Bitcoin prior to the halving event this cycle for the first time ever. So we are seeing this kind of accumulation zone here over the past number of weeks with a breakdown to the downside in the past week or two with this latest correction. But if we zoom out and think about the big picture and the supply shock event that the halving typically creates for Bitcoin, we would expect to see upwards price movement over the course of the next 12 to 18 months or so. Again, past performance is not always indicative of future results, and this is not financial advice, but it's always worth keeping the bigger picture in mind, understanding where we are in the market cycle and how that will play into the results and the price action over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. Finally, a couple of other bits of news over the past week. We have seen the payments company Stripe creating a partnership with Coinbase. And again, I think this is a very bullish piece of sentiment. Stripe is one of the largest payment processors in the entire planet. We're seeing them create this partnership with Coinbase, which would basically allow them to accept and hold stablecoins like USDC and allow customers to pay via stablecoins and allow merchants to accept payments via stablecoins on the Stripe platform, which would be, partnered and powered by Coinbase and a lot of the stablecoins that they are operating with. So very bullish sentiment here when it comes to stablecoins. I think the second story or news article that we're pointing out here is this MiCA regulation in the EU, which also is basically allowing the legitimization of stablecoins in the Eurozone area. And what we just saw in the past week as well was USDC and EURC are now officially legitimate forms of money within the European Union. And again, what I think we're going to be seeing is Europe making moves to create much more EURC stablecoin action with, being backed by bonds and treasuries within the European market, similar to how USDT are doing that with US treasuries, because USDT have basically created such a huge lead in terms of the amount of USDT that they have been printing and backing by US treasuries. The European Union have finally caught on, and they're going to be doing a similar thing. USDT do not currently have the approval of the EU based on these MiCA regulations. Circle and USDC do. And again, more bullish sentiment, I think, for stablecoins to be helping to create much more liquidity in the markets over the course of the next 12 to 24 months as we see more regulation being implemented in order to kind of green light the stablecoin market. And again, the combination of that with these types of partnerships where Stripe are now going to be accepting USDC and EURC and allowing merchants to use those stablecoins for purchases, transactions, and everything else on the Stripe platform, we're seeing the floodgates beginning to open for a huge amount of liquidity and legitimate liquidity to be flowing through stablecoins over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. So, despite the news about Mt. Gox and the German government dumping all of their Bitcoin on the markets over the short term in the next few weeks, the bigger picture and the market sentiment around how much capital is going to be flowing through stablecoins and some of the bigger moves being made to legitimize a lot more of the assets in this space is great to see. And again, will hopefully lead to more liquidity, more price action to the upside for Bitcoin and the entire space over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. So that is the update. Bitcoin, again, still currently sitting just below $58,000. If you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below. That is it for our weekly update. It's been a tumultuous week in the markets, but remember to hold those bags strong and don't get shaken out. This is not financial advice. Please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the content. And if you want to get notified about future videos, make sure to hit that bell notification icon so you can get notified every time a new video drops. And don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. Grab it while it's free. It is my gift to you. And as always, we will catch you in the next one.